I overheard a couple of things yesterday, as well as listened to a podcast, and it was on this topic that you see. First of all, Grand Rising, it's early in the morning, I know. But I went to drop off my car, and I was having a conversation with someone, and then on top of it, I love you too. Bye. I had a wonderful podcast that I was listening to as well on this topic. And I just want to throw it out here that this is important for us to realize, but love is all by perception. Love has so many different versions of what it actually is, what it means to different people. And truthfully, I just want to support the fact that anybody in this world can have any form of love that they deem is valuable to them. In astrology, we have what's, called Venus, obviously Venus is a planet and it sticks in with astrology since astrology is the study of people and how they respond to planets. And the main thing about Venus is it's supposed to represent how we love, or the way that we want to be loved. And if we think about that on a larger spectrum, there's so many different versions of how someone chooses to be loved, and learning someone's love languages, or learning, their Myers-Briggs, or learning their attachment styles, or learning their Venus. These are just some of the tools that we have available in today's time that we can utilize in a sense to understand how someone defines love. But let's just throw out here how important it is to also understand that love in itself is really defined by the person that is in the process of feeling it or in the process of experiencing it. And so I can even say, this is something that I've said to exes before. Most of my exes I really do still have a positive connection with. But, there's some situations that don't, unfortunately end up in the best way. But I think it is one of those things where you do, sorry, my dog is totally drinking water. It is one of those things where you do take a moment to say, I may have not been right for them, or they have not been right for me. However, at the same token, you do have to take a noticing of the fact that they have every right to feel loved the way that they want to. And I think the hardest thing that we need to deal with most of the time when it comes to this topic is the ability to say that maybe you do not have the tools, or you do not have the means to love the person in the way that they want to be loved. It does not mean that that love is not possible. So anytime you express the way that you want to be loved to somebody, and someone tells you that maybe your explanation of that might sound completely out of this world, or that you might be too picky, or that you might be even don't have that many expectations, that's even something as well. Some people just have that freedom of just like, I don't know, taking the, and I say I don't know because for me, I know for myself, I'm a little bit more of a specific person in what I'm looking for, but there are some people that want to can join hands with someone who they just can learn their lifestyle. And, that is wrong for myself or anyone to tell them that they cannot be loved in that way. In fact, there's so many theories beyond this as well. There's people that say you shouldn't have expectations at all. I do believe that you need to have somewhat of a blueprint of what you're looking for, because one of the things that I can say that I loved about this podcast is that the gentleman shared something down to the very science of what relationships are. And what he expressed is that relationships are actually non-existent, in the sense that there's no such thing as a tied relationship. You're not walking into this situation being like, we're in a relationship, and now we need to put this effort into this relationship. The relationship is more of a simulation factor that you've created with you and another person to bring, ideas, thoughts, and worlds together, and then create some form of a negotiation or tie, which by in a lot of cases, I always tell people I feel like relationships are pretty much businesses or partnerships. And when you come to the table with a contract, these contractual agreements should be, this is the way that, we're going to help each other work on things. If things are going sour, this is the way that we will alert each other that we're feeling that way. This is how we will take this communication to the next level. This is how we will, move into this position on working on things. This is what we need when we need space. There's specific things that you need to set up when it comes to your relationship, because it is, in fact, in the style of a business. You're bringing two concepts together that are trying to form somewhat of a whole, but with still respect that you still are oil and water. You still are very much so in a space of trying to mix. Sir, this is what I deal with every morning. You can wait. Thank you, my love. We're still in two concepts dealing with two different individuals. And so that's two sets of one set of feelings. So two different feelings, or two different styles of the way of thinking, mindsets, etc. There is, hi, sir. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Hi, boo. I see your comment. There is so many different styles of the way that we look at things. So when we look at things, we, in a way, need to look at a relationship, or should, or maybe we shouldn't. But I would suggest to have a set of understanding that a relationship definitely should already be in the mindset of bringing it into a contractual agreement or some kind of marriage in that sense before it even turns into a physical thing of marriage or a physical thing of a contract. Because when you're bringing two people together, if you do 100% care about each other, it is important to understand that you care about each other's needs, that you care about each other's wants. Now, that being said, it's also super important to understand that a person cannot read your mind either. And so it is up to us to actually communicate, up to us to actually take it upon ourselves to let somebody learn who we are, because that's a process of dating. That's a process. And you're dating even when you're married. You're dating even when, you do tie the knot, because you're still getting to know each other. So you're still going on dates. You're still doing things together to really process who each other are. You're changing and evolving every single day. And that's the beauty of it, is that you get to do it together and you get to be in that safe space to evolve together. But it doesn't mean that you just get married or you get in a relationship and then you stop. The love has to continue, and love is action 100,000%. And so action is really what defines the ability to bring said two people together, and to define what it is that you say in this world. We are in a relationship. This is between the two people that are involved. If you're into polyamory and this and that, then obviously that goes beyond that. But for the sake of talking about monogamous concepts, this is between you and the other person. And again, that existence resides in your understanding together. No lies detected. Thanks for the good word. Of course, love. So understanding that love, A is what you define it as. So take the time to define it, right? Take the time to journal what that looks like to you. I've always, shout out to Tamara, I've always said to one of my really good friends, Tamara, that anytime you want to manifest anything, you have to connect your senses to it. What does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it sound like? What does it look like? What do you hear surrounding it? When she was trying to find her apartment in Arizona, I was like, do you live down the street from a Whole Foods? Do you hear noise, a lot of noise of trucks and traffic in the background? What are the things around you? And in fact, it was kind of interesting. She did say that she wanted to live close to a Whole Foods, and that actually got manifested. So that's the key thing, is that when we are in the process of defining things, that helps us actually navigate what it is that we're trying to bring into physical manifestation. But it has to be here first. We have to actually see it in our minds, create thought, and then bring it into that material fruition. But also knowing that once you understand that factor of defining what it means to you, that it's okay if you are dating and you're not, attracting those things in a whole, but giving yourself the opportunity to navigate that as well. I love as well that this podcast also mentioned that part of dating is getting to know what you want. It's giving you, those thoughts that you've actually thought about, bringing it into physical fruition, and then now asking you in physical fruition, is this exactly what you want? So it's like God's way of almost creating a picture for you, right? We're creating this, we're creating a painting, or we're creating a drawing, and we're like, okay, actually, I don't want to use this color. Many of us are lucky to have, the erasers on the back of those color pencils. So you get to maybe erase that mark and add a different color. Or if you're somebody that's doing a drawing, maybe you want to create a different shape than the shape that you've created. And that's all a part of the process of, defining it first, what you're looking to do, what you're looking to create, and then doing it and seeing if it fits exactly what you're looking for. And so, again, this is another thing I want to throw out as well. Looking versus attracting. Now, it is okay to look, but also leave space to attract. What this is meaning, and my personal way of explaining it, is that a lot of people are expecting things to just show up on their doorstep. It does require actual action for you to go out into the world and for you to have a chance to receive the things that you're looking for. And for you to receive the things that you really truly want. So it's okay to look. That was so high soprano pitched, but it's okay to look. But just also leave room for attraction. Also leave room to actually possibly bring something into your quarters that maybe you wouldn't have imagined it looked that way, but because you requested for that specific thing when you defined what you were looking for, then it might actually come into your quarter in a different look or a different style, but it's still coming your way. So I just wanted to throw out those few things around the topic of love, as there's so many things that we can talk about when it comes to this topic, but at least we looked over the fact that A, you define the love that you want. Love is defined the way that you want it to be defined. And I know I'm going back again. I want this also to be noted. That also means in its negative. How you define love too can be in a way that it could actually be to your detriment. So be careful when you are actually sitting with self with a pen and paper and defining what love means to you. Because once you define it on paper, it's a lot easier to look at it objectively now, because it's away from your thoughts and now it's on paper in front of you. And a lot of the things that you might be saying actually might be to the detriment of what you want to build as an individual as well. So keep that in mind, that it's really helpful not only to define it on paper so that way you can bring it into physical fruition, but also so that you can see it objectively and make sure it's actually giving you a picture of what you're really going for, and it's depicting what you're really truly wanting to attract. So keep that in mind, because that's really, really important. So again, let's go back over that. Again, love is how you define it. It's what you specifically are looking for to conjoin with what you're looking for to build a greater version of self, and that you can build a greater version of another person in the process. You two are conjoined together so that way you can evolve together into what you're really looking to do. And that other person should reflect a pathway that is clear for you to be able to evolve into the person that you truly want to be, just as much as the path should be clear for them to evolve into the person that they really want to be. Okay, so that's important. Also keeping in mind, another asterisk note is that if anywhere in this you feel as though the person has evolved you to a level, but then it stops. Thank you for your heart, Ava. Love and miss you. But then it stops, then you also have to take that step back to understand that everything has an ending. And it's okay if a particular relationship, again, that we talked about earlier, that was created with the idea, simulation that you and the other person created it with. Again, this is not like there's a club sign up and you're jumping in it together. This is a connection that you've created, that you've told yourself down to your very zone for together. Hey, we're creating this, right? This is not life forcing you into this. Okay, you have to understand that if that no longer serves its purpose, that breakups can happen, and that's totally normal, and it's totally part of the process. No one should stay in something that they're not involving in. That would actually completely go against the purpose of life, right? So the purpose of life is to create more and more and to evolve. And so with that being said, if you're stopping in your tracks of evolving as a person, or becoming the greater version of yourself, or evolving in certain things that you had that pathway to, then it's okay to evaluate that and understand that love is to simply create freedom. And at that point, it's about freeing each other to be able to find new pathways that will create that. And it never takes away the idea that you cared about each other, but you should appreciate the moments for what you had, because it was a part of your understanding to what love truly is, including the freedom to be able to create new paths, right? That being said, if you are two people that are lucky enough to be able to continue to evolve and to continue to evolve, keep in mind, you have to make those contractual agreements together to say, this is how we're going to express the love together. This is how we're going to communicate if each other is upset, or if each other is angry, or if each other is down. This is how we're going to work on that together. This is how we can provide space for one, or we can read the room to understand the other person needs space. But all that needs to be worked on in defining before even stepping into the action part, because that, my friends, is how you define love together. And as long as you stay in those areas of where you're loving each other and where you're helping each other evolve and you're communicating in a complete effort, then you're doing what's great for your partner, you're doing what's great for yourself, and you're ultimately doing what's great for evolution in general. So I just wanted to throw those things out there. Oh, and again, that was another point. Oh my God, they're coming back. Mercury's in retrograde, so you have to bear with me. But the main point and the main purpose of this as well is to also remind you that the love that you define what it is by your perception, and to never let anybody sway your idea of what that means for you, because you have every right to be loved in the ways that you want to be loved. And as long as you have a participant that is appreciating that way of being, them loving you and you loving them, then it's really all about the relationship that you build together, and less about what everybody thinks about it. It's more the internal union than it is the external. So I just wanted to throw those couple things out here. Grand rising to all you beautiful babies. I hope you guys get some lovely coffee, some tea, some kisses, because this little one here is like needing some attention this rising. So have a beautiful day. And I hope this was nutritional. Okay, see you guys later.